you tell me what the state of smoking is in South Africa? How many people are smoking?
We've actually done a really good job. I say us, South Africa, the government. You will be aware that there's no advertising, there's no promotion of tobacco. And that's one of the strategies, particularly for adolescents, is so you de-glamorize smoking. Those of us who are old enough will remember the adverts where you saw fancy cars and very good-looking people smoking. And so that has significantly reduced the attraction to smoking. The taxes and the cost of smoking has gone up. So our estimated rates in South Africa are about 20% of men and 8% of women are smoking. It varies quite dramatically in terms of ethnic, racial, socioeconomic groups. So it's not across the board. So the estimates are somewhere around about 7 million South Africans currently smoke.
7 million.
But there are lots of adolescents who are starting. And then unfortunately there are lots of people who used to smoke who still have the hangover effect, particularly of cancer risks. So although the numbers have come down, there's still a significant disease associated with smoking in South Africa.
Now you mentioned the hangover effect. Can you explain what that is?
Well, if you stop smoking, the benefits are immediate. So your blood pressure drops, your heart rate drops, the oxygen levels in your blood go up, and the toxins get excreted quite quickly. But because you've been smoking for a period of time, you've increased your risk for cancer, particularly. And those risks don't go away immediately. They wane over time. And so if you stopped smoking 5 or 10 years ago, your risks for heart disease and cancer are lower. But they never, unfortunately, get as low as a lifetime non-smoker.
All right. Now, Susan, can you touch on some of the misconceptions regarding smoking? Why are these 7 million people? Why did they start? What are some of the misconceptions they
Well, I won't call it a misconception, but I think people are just ignorant and they just find it as an excuse to say, well, nothing will happen to me. It's like, like an ostrich putting its head in the ground, saying, if I don't think about it, it's not going to happen. And I think a lot of the misconceptions are also because they don't get properly educated, and especially when we talk about like the hookah pipe or the e-cigarettes, everybody thinks it's fine and it will help. And I think Richard will also say that, especially around the e-cigarette, that's not really a cure to stop smoking. That's the problem, is that there's also chemicals and things in there that can still cause lung cancer or cancers or tobacco-related diseases. So I think that the whole thing is that people think it is still fine, but what they also don't realize is that, with second-hand and third-hand smoking, that causes a lot of damage to the people around them.
And I think people are genuinely, or I don't think it is true, people are genuinely addicted to the nicotine. So there are a lot of people who are smoking who just haven't been able to quit. So there is a genuine addiction to the tobacco, which is why it is so difficult to quit.
Richard, say, do you agree that they say that tobacco is actually more addictive than drugs?
It's a difficult question to answer because the profile of how one becomes addicted to a drug varies depending on the drug. So something like tic is exceptionally addictive because its brain effect, the dopamine release is very high. Something like cocaine, for example, has a different chemical profile in terms of when you take the substance and how your body responds. So nicotine in and of itself is not as addictive as tic, for example. But because you light the cigarette, you suck, you puff, it goes straight into your lungs and straight up to your brain, it happens very quickly, the reward from the drug. So from that aspect, it makes it quite addictive. So it's a complicated question to answer, but there's no question that it is highly addictive and is more addictive than many other drugs.
Wow.